Hello, all my Be in Demand listeners. I am bringing on one of my clients who also became a friend. A lot of my clients actually become friends, but this woman is particularly special. And we met, geez, I think it's about 4 years ago. We met at an in-person networking event, an association that I was a part of, and she was kind of like testing out for the first time. And one of my first impressions of Talyne, Talyne Price, was that this was a woman who has a heart of gold, a huge heart, but she was completely dimming her light. Dimming her light, I'm sure, for a number of reasons. And through our work together, you will see how she is completely shining now. Talyne, thank you so much for coming on.
Lorianne, thank you so much for having me join you. It's an absolute pleasure.
So we were just kind of like chit-chatting about what we were going to talk about before this, but would you agree that the first time I met you, you were just kind of like dimming your light?
I would totally agree. I actually remember that networking meeting. It was my first professional women's networking group. I had gotten to that place in my career where I was starting to grow a team in my direct sales business. And I had kind of put a different hat on myself. So I was no longer like a stay-at-home mom working at selling some products, and more like a businesswoman who was growing a team of people, making an income for her family. And it was a complete mind shift that I was having for sure. So when I went to this meeting and I saw all the variety of different women, I think I might have been a little bit second guessing myself. Was this the right place? Was I really this business woman that I was imagining myself to be? So I think I was rather quiet for at least that meeting, maybe even a few more.
I think so. And for those of you, like, you can't tell just by watching the YouTube video, and you certainly can't tell by listening to this, but Talyne and I are like opposites. And well,
In
not
so
only
many ways.
yes, in so many ways. But one of them is I'm 5'10" and I wear heels, so I'm about 6 feet tall. And Talyne, how tall are you without heels?
I am 4'10" without heels, so 5 feet on a good day.
5 feet on a good day. So, and I think we sat at the same table.
We did.
Yeah.
You were so pleasant to me, and you said, "Well, tell me your name." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this stunning, amazing, classy woman is speaking to me." Meanwhile, like, I was in a beautiful black lace dress. I look nice too. So I don't know why I was feeling or thinking that no one would want to be talking to me, but that is exactly how I felt. So when you
Wow.
were speaking to me, I thought, wow, this is awesome. The people I hear are so nice.
And, I think coming from, being that stay-at-home mom, and then you were, whatever that was, and then you were coming into like this new role with Mary Kay, this new role with like how you were just treating your business. You were like really stepping into this role of a leadership. And but like, that's what you had to do. But what your body was saying was like, I'm still like I'm still the stay-at-home mom. And I
I
like
totally
that's
felt like, that Sting song, and he says there's a fortress around your heart.
yeah.
I feel like I had a fortress around myself. I had been a professional HR generalist in a huge law firm in downtown Chicago, and I went to be home with two children, and it kind of steals a little bit of your fire and it dims your light. And so you carry that with you because you lose some of your confidence along the way. And stepping into this new role, being with Mary Kay, people can be with Mary Kay in the sense of that they could just use the product themselves, and then you can earn hundreds, thousands, millions of dollars with this company. And I found that if I wanted to excel to that point, I needed to step outside my comfort zone. going to this business meeting was one of them. And I'm so glad that working with you, Lorianne, was the next thing that I did.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. When was that time that you decided I need to hire Lorianne?
There's three distinct times, actually. The first one was I had to give, I think it was like a 10-minute cursory speech on the products and what my role was and everything like that. And I found that I was sticking to the script and I was using my notes, and I was extremely anxious and I was feeling very, very flushed. And I thought, this is not how it's supposed to be, because then it's not coming off as authentic. And I kind of looked at you in the crowd a little bit, and you were wonderful. You were nodding to me. You were nodding encouragement to me, and I thought, okay, she said she's a professional speaker. Maybe I can get with her and grab some tips or something like that. So the first time we connected, I had to give the next 20-minute speech, and I said, what can I do to, get on your calendar, to get with you? And it was early in my life, so I was like, I was concerned about, what's this going to cost me? Except the great part is just ask. You can put things in your mind that are like out there, and then you're going to find out like they're not at all what you think.
Right, right.
And I think that's when I did that first intensive with you.
Yes.
And the intensive worked out to be an awesome 10-minute talk. And I'm going to show you. I simply used the note section on my phone. You taught me how to put a few items there and really get confident with the subject matter. And so then I was only referring to my phone here and there, and I was making a lot of eye contact with my audience. And I really felt like I nailed it.
Yeah.
So that was my first experience with you, that I knew, wow, if this Mary Kay thing doesn't go forward, like, I think I could learn. I'm teachable, I'm coachable to do
Yeah.
better at speaking. So that was all you, Lorianne.
And I think your first speech, like a lot of people, is like the fire hose. They try to like, all right, I have 10 minutes to speak and I need to share with everybody everything I know, which just confuses the audience. And that's one of the things that was not just unique to you, but is unique to a lot of my clients. Like, they just show up and that's just what they've been doing, because no one's like, taking the time to like, let's just pull out a few things to share with the audience for your 10 minutes, for your 20 minutes, for your keynote.
All of my various experiences with you have been great. And I would say that I was one of those people who had to take every bit of every one of your products. I wanted to buy every one of your products, so to speak. And the second product that I took was a 1-day workshop that you did. And then there was material that I could refer back to. I felt like there was value for for the time that I invested in it. I put it to practice, because then you and I worked together to give a speech at a huge business debut that I had to do. And it was interesting, because I think I was struggling with that. And again, going back to what you were saying, like, I felt like that whole journey getting to become a director with the company had taken me through so many years and so many experiences, that I had so much to share. And you kept coming back at me and you kept saying, okay, Talyne, but what is the one thing?
Yeah. I like
And
to
I
say to
said,
clients, like, if you put your hands together, you can't see this on the audio, but maybe on the video you can. Like, if you put your hands together and you were giving your audience a gift that fit in your hands, what's that gift? Because that's where that's where you start with the presentation. I need to know, like, what do you want your audience to walk away with? And that is where we started.
that was exactly where we started. And then we backtracked from there.
Mm-hmm.
I have to tell you too, if I can sing your praises for a minute, one of the things that I find really special about you as a coach specifically also for women, is that you're extremely empowering to women to help them find their voice, to find their strength. You can have an extremely talented person sitting in front of you. However, having an excellent coach who's going to help that woman find her voice beyond just the tactical thing that she's good at. Like, okay, great. I was an awesome salesperson. I'm great with people. But what is the other thing? What is that voice behind there? And that voice was, I wanted to make an impact and help change women's lives beyond just the lipstick. And you helped me. You helped me with that.
I'm blushing. I'm blushing. Thank you so much.
More.
But all right, back to your presentation.
Yes.
Although, like, if we weren't doing this audio recording, I would sit and receive more of that. But I kind of want to go back to the director presentation that you gave, which was a much longer presentation. I like one of the things like I believe like a presentation is like, it starts off as an idea. It starts off as like a block of clay that I help work with my clients and we mold it. And I remember asking you, we were sitting down, we were figuring this out. And it was a comment that your dad made about lipstick. And then I was
yes.
Yes, your dad wasn't your biggest fan in the beginning when you started doing this. But
no, he was very concerned that, I think he had an idea like, I just, invested in my daughter to go to college and I'm not expecting that she's going to come out and sell lipstick. And I think the part that was missing in all of that is, well, we could look at it as selling a lipstick. However, we could also look at it as becoming a businesswoman.
Yeah.
And that is so much more powerful than selling a lipstick.
Yes.
And so if we're going to share that, right? If we're going to mold that clay, we need to start shaving off the pieces to find what it was. And that was the start of it, is you can look at it as a sale. Mm-hmm. And what did we come up with? I think I'd sold.
Well, here's why I brought this up, because I remember this. It gave me the idea, and this, like I come up with these ideas, like as I'm working with clients, it was like, how many lipsticks have you sold in the 10 years that you'd been with Mary Kay? And it was, like you had to go through tax records, like you had the information.
I did.
Because I was like, it would be amazing, because the part where you talked about your dad and his support and like how he helped you, like move you along, we mentioned how many lipsticks you had sold, which was 13 or 15,000. I don't remember off the top of my head, but it's a large number of lipsticks.
This is so true. I think what we were trying to do is, you can change the narrative in someone else's mind when you give them some factual information as part of your speech. So, you can have the soft parts in your speech, you can have the emotional parts in your speech, and you can also have the, analytical parts in your speech. So to me, it was shocking when I converted not only this lipsticks that I'd sold, but the amount of product that I had sold, and converted that to a dollar amount for lipsticks, that it was like 15,000 lipsticks. And that's shocking in a sense. But and then this is where we catapulted to, what did 15,000 lipsticks do? What was the impact of 15,000 lipsticks?
It empowered your clients, your female buyers, but also I remember us talking about, even during a recession, lipstick sales still either stayed the same or went up, because of the way that they make women feel.
Make people feel. Absolutely. And we could certainly talk even more about that in today's climate, with people having to wear a mask, and that, cosmetics in general took a decline for that, until people started to realize that they weren't feeling good about themselves. And guess what happened? They started doing their eyes.
Yes.
So the narrative is still the same today as it was then, equally as powerful, that it's not about a lipstick. It's about feeling good about oneself and developing confidence and having some passion for your life. And so the speech was incredible. It touched on so many different points, bringing the audience to almost tears in some sense, and really like they're being perplexed with what lipstick really means or what a sale really means, and understanding that it actually translates to changing lives. Because when you become the say seller of the lipstick, you have an opportunity to bring an income home and change your family's life too.
Yeah. And that was what we did while we were molding that clay for that speech.
I felt like I was resistant to you on a few points. However, you have a way to help your clients break through to find their voice. And I do know, while I did use notes on that particular speech, I just think because it was a very overwhelming day in general, you had some really great tips, which I'm not going to share here because I'm going to tell you people, you need to work with this woman. And I have used those tools since that time.
So thank you for bringing that up, because the public speaking tips and training and skills that I work with my clients, it's not just for the presentation. I mean, it can be for one-on-one. You'll use it in, it's amazing how many different areas you end up using these skills.
Since I've worked with you, and again, I mean, I think that investing in the different programs that you've offered over time, which I love, and I know that you're just always amazing, revamping and learning yourself and coming up with new programs. So I'm always excited when you're offering one. The different boot camps that I've taken from, you know, our time together, I'm able to add another layer in my experience of public speaking. And since moving to North Carolina from New Hampshire, where you and I originally met, I've had an enormous amounts of opportunity to speak in public, whether they were other networking meetings, whether I was being invited to speak at a university to some young business students, etc. And what I found was the more confident I became, not only with my subject matter, but also my own voice, and that has been your coaching, is find your voice. It's a lot easier to stand up and speak in public without really having to rehearse very much, because you're already using those tools. They have become part of who you are. So I think that has been helpful for me as I've rebuilt a business here and I'm transitioning to go in other directions, whether it could be, you know, one-on-one coaching or another sales venue. I have heavily relied on my strength in public speaking now.
Good for you.
I mean, literally, I think back to that woman you met that day.
Yeah.
I don't even know her. I mean, she's probably somewhere in there,
but yeah, but we like, it's almost like you don't need that version of you anymore, because there's this bigger, empowering version of you that is definitely touching more lives. I'm curious how you felt like, because all the training that you and I did, the work that we did was before this global pandemic and before the big boom into virtual speaking. Did you find it really easy just to transition from the in-person to the virtual world of speaking?
Wow. I've had a few little struggles with that. However, let me preface by saying that one of the early influences that you had on me was, I don't know, shortly after Facebook Live came to be. I had used it casually on a vacation to kind of do a little sightseeing with my phone. And I was holding an open house, and you said, well, you have an opportunity to market yourself here.
I just want to hold on, pause for a second. This was definitely before she moved to North Carolina.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You've not seen the inside of my house here.
No, I haven't.
Let's just have that as a bone of contention.
Yeah. Okay. So you were having an open house.
You
came
over support.
Yeah, because you're a client of mine. So
so you came over to support me. And again, I think that was a huge turning point, because you said, we don't have to just use Facebook Live for casual events and whatnot. You can use it as a speaking platform. And you were cute, like, would you be okay if we went Facebook Live? And I'm like, oh God, what's happening to me? But there we were. And all of a sudden the camera was on me, and you were nodding at me.
And what did I say to you?
What was that?
What did I say to you?
I don't know. Can you remind me?
Speak from your heart.
Oh, speak from my heart. Oh, yes. And that's what you do. You tell me to speak from my heart. And when I do that, I close my eyes for a minute and I just think, what do I love about these products? Or what do I love about helping women? Or what do I love about making an impact? And then the rest flows. So that experience, which was about, I want to say, just also about 4 years ago, we might have known each other a little longer, helped me, because during the pandemic here, I had to follow up with my customers on FaceTime. I had to follow up on Zoom. I had to hold meetings with my team on Zoom. And I had to project that same confidence that I was projecting in person, because how else am I going to get my product sold?
Right.
How else am I going to encourage my team? Because it's follow the leader. They need to see that you are doing the work. So definitely, I did find it to be a challenge. And in my world, it is a tactical product that a person needs to try on their skin. So you can send them a care package and they can use it before you meet with them on Zoom, and that's great. And we have resorted to doing that. And I can think to myself, what if I had never gone live and taken all of the encouragement and tips that Lorianne had for me? I think I probably would have been paralyzed during the pandemic, as so many other direct sales professionals were.
Yeah. You really, little kicking and screaming, so to speak. But you ended up embracing it. You're a problem solver. You're just like, okay, here's what's going on in the world. I can't meet with people face to face. So what can I do next? And that's one of the things.
I started doing my product tutorials in my bathroom with the phone on, because at that point we were stuck in the house for 12 months.
Yeah.
So, if a new product came to my door, I needed to show it to somebody somehow.
That's right.
So why not stick the phone on Facebook Live and go for it?
And you ended up creating a catalog of videos.
I did.
Which was so wonderful, because as you got, let's just say, a new customer, a new client, or even a new person who was joining your team, to be able to refer them to, like, hey, you don't know how to use this product, or you don't know the stuff that's in there, or like, when's the best time to use this? Go
Let
watch
me
this
tag
video.
you in a video.
Yeah, and
now
there it is. Because Lord knows, because I will confess, I am a user of Mary Kay product because of Talyne. And there have been many times that I've called you and said, I forgot how to use this. And, to be able to say, go watch this video, Lorianne.
Right.
Worked very well. And you also joined a program of mine, Momentum.
Yes, I did. That was incredible. By far, that was one of the best investments that I made for my future, regardless of what that future will be. I do envision myself speaking from a grander stage one day in my life. And I don't know what capacity that will be. I do feel that it will be in some kind of inspirational and motivational capacity. And I know for certain, had I not taken your momentum boot camp, I don't think I would even be on this podcast with you right now, because I think that that grew me even more as a speaker, and to realize that I didn't have to only have the lipstick message.
Right.
I could learn how to use speaking in a variety of different ways to impact myself and others going forward.
Yeah. It was such a joy to work with you. It's such a blessing to have you in my life, but you're going to do amazing things. Like
I'm
the
so
best
excited.
yet to come for you. So I would love it if you would share with my listeners and anybody who's watching this where they can follow you or find out more information about you.
Well, so you can always find me on Instagram, and it's Talyne Price, TALYNEPRICE_trendsetter. And you can always find me there, and I post very inspirational things there. I post some little tidbits about my life. You can message me from there. However, I did kind of go out on a limb, and I definitely have you as my support behind this. I started on Facebook. You can choose which kind of page you want to be, and I chose blogger. Mm-hmm. Because you know what? You can video blog too, which means I can be talking to people. So I started a blog, and you can find my page, and it's called Lady Spice on Life. Essentially, it's some thoughts I have about life, inspiration, things to help you have a happy day, inspire you. So you can find me there.
Definitely worth the read. And I would definitely keep an eye on this woman, because I'm pretty sure that in her future, I see a podcast. So that would be a lot of fun to actually hear from her on a regular basis. So all of those, the links to her blogging, Facebook, and also Instagram will be down below in the show notes. And thank you so much for joining me for this conversation with Talyne Price. And we will see you next week.
Thank you, everyone.